Hello everyone. Thanks for watching the next video in our COVID-19 Conversations with Acumentis series. Today I'm joined by Acumentis agricultural expert, Lachlan Dunsdon. Lachie is our National Director of Rural and Agribusiness, and we're going to discuss the position of the agricultural market and the changes since the coronavirus pandemic. So Lachie, can we start with you providing us a brief market update and sharing any of your key observations across the agricultural property market?
Sure, thank you, Amy. Guys, take a step back. Prior to the coronavirus, the rural property market was strong and we were seeing good, steady growth across most of the industries. By its nature, the agricultural property market is very resilient and it has low volatility, which sets us in good stead, particularly at a time like this. Furthermore, the lenders are reporting to us that there's still strong levels of confidence within their existing ag business lines. And this is driven by low interest rates, favourable commodity prices, and that continued positive story around agriculture. And this is emphasised publicly by several high-profile participants and their recent transactions. Examples of this would include some large institutional funds, large public and private family operations, and obviously continued demand from the foreign entities for Australian agricultural land. There's renewed demand for Australian produce, and while our discretionary spending may have subdued, food and fibre remains essential. The last point I'd like to make there, Amy, is that strong demand remains across the board, but primarily from our existing landholders and producers, and they're looking to expand and grow their existing enterprises. And as a result, that creates a good level of demand across all market segments.
And have you seen a change in the volume of activity? Has it increased or decreased in the recent month?
Prior to coronavirus, we had a decent rainfall throughout late summer, and that sent the rural property market in good stead. We saw a good level of supply of listings coming onto the market, and at that time there was strong demand to absorb that supply. We did see a period of wait and see. It was a cautious period around late March, and this lasted for around two or 3 weeks. But when it became apparent that properties could be bought and sold with little significant change to the way the market normally operates, buyers and sellers and the agents were able to carry on the way they did business as they did previously. Since this fortnight, agricultural market has continued to grow, and I believe it's responded back to a position where it was before coronavirus, possibly even a little bit stronger, and the sentiment has increased as well. The contraction in sentiment we did see during that period in late March, I believe, was related more around the uncertainty of the coronavirus, particularly in light of the public announcements around social distancing, lockdowns and the like, and obviously some losses on the stock exchange. But Amy, to conclude there, with regard to the coronavirus, the impacts in our opinion were there was no notable influence on the market, and transactions that were already in motion were able to continue to do so.
Great. And with the sales that have taken place over the past month or so, have you seen any noticeable changes in prices? Have they been negatively or positively influenced?
No, as I just said, any of the transactions that were in motion, they were able to continue and transact. There was no transactions that I was aware of where either buyer or seller was withdrawing. On the flip side of that, there's been several notable transactions, particularly in Queensland, central and southern Queensland, that were meant to go to auction. Offers were received, strong offers were received prior to auction, and those properties have now moved to transact and to settle. There was even one example of a central Queensland property where within a couple of days of listing, they received offer and acceptance on that. Obviously a good quality property, the value that it sold for was reflective of the top of the market. So no indication of any contraction there within the market, Amy.
It's a nice positive story. And are you seeing any trends emerging at this stage across the ag sector?
Yeah, I think that the non-genuine participants, be that what we call the tie kickers, the buyers or sellers that are just around the process, not really a genuine player, they seem to have dropped out, and as a result you've left your genuine buyers and your genuine sellers within the market, and now it's just a matter for the agents to put the deal together. The other notable growth I have seen is inquiry from non-agricultural industry related investors, so be that from the commercial market particularly. They're looking to try and understand the agricultural market, particularly for its low volatility and that lack of correlation with the rest of the market, which, particularly in the commercial sector, seems to be doing a little bit tough at present.
And do you think there are factors arising from this health crisis that are potential risks for the agricultural sector moving forward?
Yeah, I do. The export market is the primary one, and be that for red meat, grains, fruit or vegetables. There's obviously the level of demand from the importing nations, and also our ability to get our fresh produce to them. Restrictions on the export of produce has created an issue there, and that's having a flow-on effect back to the producers. We've also seen some reductions in the volumes of produce through processors, particularly in the red meat sector. And a good example of this is that your prime cuts of beef, for example, normally sold through restaurants and hotels. Obviously, restaurants and hotels are closed at the moment, and as such, that level of demand for that prime cut of beef is lower. And as a result, there's less demand for that. That's flowing all the way back through the supply chain, back through the processors, back to the farm gate and having an impact. The last one, Amy, I think is labour, and obviously that's more of a concern to the more intensive industries, but by their nature they are equipped for existing biosecurity measures and requirements, so it's been an extension of those measures that they've been able to ensure the health and safety for their employees.
Thank you. And just before we wrap up, do you have any comments in summary?
Yeah, I think the agricultural sector is a positive one, and I acknowledge that the operating business and the underlying property market might be slightly out of kilter in that some of the businesses are facing some short to medium term challenges. However, the property market itself appears to be taking a long-term view, and that's a positive one. The market has had good steady growth over the last 4, 5, 6 years, and the market continues to be strong across the majority of sectors.
Well, thanks, Lachie, for sharing such valuable insights, and it's really heartening to hear a positive story across this sector, and that the impacts resulting from the coronavirus pandemic were sort of a short-term pause, and there's lots of good news stories coming out of the ag sector. So just reiterating that the team at Acumentis are here to support everyone with their property needs during this time and beyond. You can reach our team of property professionals on 1300 882 431. And thanks again for watching, and keep a lookout for our next conversation that'll be coming your way soon. Thank you.
Thank you.